All right, hey guys, it's Mrs. Charles again, the lady from Mississippi that talks funny. And you're going to have to listen to my voice, and I have a DIY video over proportions and creating a circle graph out of percents. So this is your DIY video. It's an example problem that you're going to use and create your own circle graph from the data in your classroom. This is not the official data. This is an example. So let's talk about it. In the example, we're going to say that we collected 4 cans of meat out of all of the total cans. So when you're finding the percent of how many cans 4 is, you have to think about setting up a proportion. So you're going to set up part to whole. In this case, your part is the meat, and the whole is the total cans you collected. Once you find the total for one, it's going to be the same for every one of them. So let's go ahead and set up our proportion. We have 4 cans of meat to the total, which is all of these numbers added together, which is 33. And then we have to set up the proportion equals some number over 100. Now this part should be easy. We're going to solve it, okay? Remember, percent is out of 100, so it's easy to set up the proportion. All right, so we set up the proportion, and let's talk you through this because you should be rock star geniuses at figuring out how to do it. So we cross products are equal, so we say 33 times x equals 4 times 100. So what this means is 33 times some number equals 400. Well, to find out what that some number is, what x is, you have to divide 400 divided by 33. Pause the video. Well, you see the answer now, so never mind. I want you to try some of this division on your own because we all need practice with division. So look at it, see if you understand it, and realize that the answer is 12.12% because we're looking for percent. So we put the 12.12 here, and we're going to round this to a whole number later. I'll talk more about that further along in the video. So now let's move on to the vegetables. Let's try to find the percent of the vegetables. All right, so for the vegetable percent, we set up our proportion once again. That is vegetables being the part and total being the whole. So we have 18 to 23 equals x to 100 because percent is out of 100. And we cross products are equal, so we cross multiplied and divided. So 33 times some number equals 18 times 100. So 33 times some number equals 1800. So 1800 divided by 33 will give you the answer. Pause the video at this time and you try to divide 33 into 1800 and see if you can come up with the correct percentage. So pause the video. Thank you. Now let's look and see if you were right. If you got 54.54%, you are correct. So give yourself a thumbs up in the classroom right now. High five your teacher because you are on the right track and you know what you're doing. All right, so for fruit and for other, please try to set up the percentages, the proportions on your own and solve and see what you get. And let's see if you can get the answer setting up the proportion by yourself. So pause the video while you work it out because we're going to be coming around and checking. If at any point you get confused, hold up your card, your question card, or request a workshop or whatever you need to do in order to get the right answer. So pause the video and then we'll talk about the circle graph here in a second. All right, so if you got 21.21% for fruit, you are correct. If you got 12.12%, you are correct. Now, the last thing that we need to talk about before we create our circle graph is we have to round these percentages to the nearest whole number and make sure that we have 100% because the circle graph has to be 100% total when you make it. So we've added up the whole numbers. We rounded 12.12. Oopsie daisy, what happened? There we go. We rounded 12.12 to 12. 54, we rounded to 55. 21, we rounded to 21. There you go. 55, 21, 12. Add all those up and you get 100%, and that is our goal. If you would not have gotten 100%, and you may not for your project, you just have to make some slight adjustments to your numbers so you do get 100%. Because remember, when we were dividing, we rounded our remainders, so calculations may be off just a little bit because of the rounding in our dividing. Now let's create that circle graph. First of all, you're going to start off with a circle. So you have a circle, which I'm going, to try to move. And Miss Gaines, who is assisting with this video, can make the circle bigger if she would like for it to be bigger. But she's good. She gave me the thumbs up. Where did my recording thing go? Okay. All right, so when creating the circle graph, we're going to estimate on the circle because we're not going to pull out and get exact here with tools to measure angles and all of that good stuff that you'll learn in 8th grade. But what you do know is that we can bust up this circle into fourths. So we know that 1/4 is equal to 25%. So each one of the fourths in the circle that we have with the dotted lines represents 25%, which is a quarter. So think about quarters. There's 4 quarters in a dollar. There's 4 quarters in your circle, and we're going to estimate and make our circle graph. So if I look at the top right quarter of the circle, I have 25% in that part. And I'm going to look first at meat, I guess, Miss Gaines. We're going to look at meat. So think about it. What is half of 25? Well, guess what? It's about 12. Because 25 divided by 2 gives us actually 12.5, which is about 12. But we're going to estimate with our circle graph, and we are going to label half of the 25 representing meat. So you can shade it in a pretty color. You can just write meat. You can make a key and say blue represents meat. This is where you can get creative and make your circle graph your own, however you want to do it. All right, so now you have to kind of organize your thoughts a little bit, and you know that meat is 12%, and we did that in blue. And look down at other, it's also 12%. So we can use the rest of that first part to represent other. So we have other in green, and that's 12% of the circle. Okay, so we've done other, we've done meat in blue. Now we are going to do, let's do fruit, because fruit is not quite 25%. So we're not going to completely fill up the whole top left part of the circle. Bottom right part of the circle, I'm sorry. And we're going to color that in red because that is almost 25%, but not quite. We're right at 21%. Okay, so that represents fruit. Now the last category we need to create our circle graph for is for vegetables. So we're going to estimate and think about it this way. 55% vegetables. And I have half of a circle and a little bit more on the left-hand side. I have half the circle, and then I have a little bit more of that part of the fruit. So that would represent the 5%. So 50% plus 5%, which we're estimating, there's a little 5 piece there, and here's all the 50 in purple there, represents the vegetables. So we have created a circle graph that represents the data that we collected in the food drive. With this video, you need to take the numbers that your class collected or the numbers that your teacher gives you that we collected and create your own circle graph based off of the information in your classroom. So remember, you have to set up a proportion and first find the percentage of each category that we collected, and then you have to make sure that the percentages add up to 100. And when they do, you can estimate and create your circle graph either with different colors as a key. You can write the percentages in, whatever your little heart's desire. But this is what you have to do in order to be successful on your project. I know everyone can do it, and I know you're going to try your best. So good luck.